Yo, what is up, guys? It's your lost boy Rufio, and welcome back to another Paramedic Story Time. We're gonna be sharing some stories from my job. If you guys don't know, if you're brand new, I work as a paramedic at a fire station. I run on the ambulances. We take 911 calls and also inter-facility critical calls from hospital to hospital, depending on the level of care. And I like to share those stories, some of them with you guys, some of the better ones, some of the crazier ones. And so I've got a few stories to share today, and hopefully you guys enjoy. So the background, as you can see, this is more Dark Souls 3. We're actually doing a cosplay fight club here, so you'll see a lot of the people participating in this are dressed up as characters from the game, including NPCs, mobs, and even bosses. And I'm dressed up there as Solaire, and I think I go later as Horus. And yeah, there's a bunch of good cosplays that show up, and you guys really need to come join these if you haven't. Hop in our Twitch channel on Sundays. We do these every single Sunday, and we do tournaments. We do fight clubs throughout the week. So definitely come follow me over on Twitch TV if you haven't, and come participate. They're so much fun, and you'll see some really good fights. We do 2v2s, we do 1v1s, we do sometimes 3v3s, and even 6-man free for alls. They're a blast. So, anyways, enough about that. So enjoy the background fights there, and you can read the chat there if you like to, and hopefully you enjoy these stories that I have to share. So the first story, just really quickly, we'll go over a couple of them. We had a 13-year-old boy that was riding his scooter, and he ended up completely just crashing and shattering his entire leg, his entire bone. We saw the X-rays when we took him to the hospital, and just completely shattered both of his bones in his legs on the lower leg there, the tib fib, and completely just shattered it. And it just blew my mind. This kid was really tough. 13 years old. He did not want pain medication. Believe it or not, he was such a tough guy, and my heart goes out to him. The kid is he went through a lot of pain. I can't even imagine breaking both of your leg bones down there. And but yeah, that was our first call. We just gave him IV fluids, rushed him to the hospital. Of course, we splinted the leg and took him to the hospital. But he did not want pain medications, and so we didn't give him any. So he was able to withstand that pain there. The next call we had was a 50-year-old who had fallen and split the back of his head open. It wasn't too exciting there. The head bleeds a lot, so there's a lot of blood, and all throughout the hair and everything. And so he was an older dude, and he just had a pretty good laceration. It wasn't too big, probably about 2 or 3 inches, and there's just a ton of blood. So nothing too exciting about that call. One call that I did have while I was on my own, my partner had called out, and so I had a different person working with me. We had a 60-year-old female that was in respiratory arrest, and so she was found not breathing at all. We put a tube down her throat, and it's called intubation. So we intubated her, and we ended up having to take her to a different hospital with higher level of care. And so we placed her on a ventilator, and so she's being ventilated through the tube, and she's completely unconscious. And so she starts waking up in the back of the ambulance with a tube down her throat. It's extremely dangerous. And so I'm sitting there in the back of the ambulance. The first thing that actually happened before that was her blood pressure started tanking. Her pressure just dropped, and I'm like, oh, great. So I've got to get some fluid in her, raise her blood pressure. So luckily, she already had an IV established, so all I had to do was just hook up the fluid and put it in. And so once her blood pressure started to come up, she started waking up. I'm like, oh, great, this isn't good, because if she wakes up, she's got a tube down her throat, and she goes to yank it out. That could cause some serious trauma in her throat, and also could kill her easily, very quickly, and lead to aspiration and other complications. And so she starts to wake up. So I had to pull up Versed, and that's one of the very first time. That is the very first time I've ever used it on my own. And so I knocked her out and made sure that she was unconscious, and so she couldn't pull the tube out. And so we're sitting on the freeway going lights and sirens while she's trying to wake up, and I'm trying to pull up medications and knock her out so that she doesn't rip that tube out. So that was a pretty intense, crazy call. The next call we had was it was pretty gross. It was an old man that he sat there in his own shit for probably 8 hours, and his wife finally decided to call 911, and we showed up. We lifted him up. He had shit just covered all up his back, all the way almost into the shoulder line. Like it is like explosive diarrhea in the back of his. I don't know how it shot up so high, but he was just sitting in a normal chair, and somehow over the past 8 hours he had so much shit that it went all the way up his back and all the way down his legs. And the funny thing was is it really didn't stink, but it was like gushy, mushy, just like, oh, it was all wet. It wasn't like hard shit. It was like disgusting. It was so gross. And so anyway, we made his wife clean it up. We made his wife clean it up. Well, his wife volunteered to clean it up. Normally we usually have to take care of that kind of stuff, but his wife volunteered to wipe it all up. So his wife sat there and wiped up her husband's dirty ass and the crap that was all over everything, and so that was pretty gross. The next call that we had was a pretty intense call. We had a 25-year-old man who was decided he wanted to go shoot up his family, so he went to his grandparents' house first, and he had a gun with him, went up there and scared him and said he was going to shoot him. So somebody called 911. Somebody saw him with a gun and called 911. We showed up just in case there's any gunshots. And so we show up and there's a SWAT team there. There's like 50 cop cars there, and all of them have assault rifles out. They're full, they've got their body armor on and everything and their riot gear and stuff. Like they're storming the house, and we're just sitting there like, oh, we probably shouldn't be in the middle of this because we don't have any protective gear. But anyways, we show up. And luckily, the guy came out without any guns, and so he had a gun. But when he exited the house, he was not holding any weapons, so they didn't shoot him. He didn't come out, shooting at the cops. And so they were able to take him down, and we checked him out, made sure he was okay, made sure the grandparents were okay. Luckily, everybody was okay in the end. So that was pretty intense, though. But next call that we had was oh my gosh, this was so gross. So she was about 50 years old. She just fallen out of bed, completely butt naked. She had piss, she had poop, she had blood from who knows where. I don't really want to know where. Blood it was just all mixed together. She was laying in it, and we found her. She had gotten up on her knees and had been sitting there for a few hours, and we show up, and it was absolutely disgusting. She was 400 pounds. 400 pounds just sitting there in all this blood, this piss, this her feces all over the place. She's just sitting there. And so we like, okay, what do you want to do? And you want to go to the hospital? She's like, no, I don't want to go to the hospital. I'm like, okay, well, we'll help you get back up into bed. So I took the right side. One of the firefighters took the left side. Another firefighter took behind her. And then my partner was in front of her. And so we all start to lift up. And all of a sudden, she goes forward right into my partner. I look over at my partner. This is all happening so fast. His eyes just go big because he's got this big 400-pound lady just full of poop and piss and blood just coming right at her, just about to fall on top of him. And I just started laughing so hard. I'm like, oh no, my partner. And everybody just like cracks up laughing because he's about to get crushed. But luckily we were able to save him from getting crushed. We got the lady back into bed, and and so she didn't want to go to the hospital, and so she just laid there in her own stuff, and it was pretty gross. But anyways, the last call that we had was kind of a sad call. A 23-year-old male that was involved in a motorcycle accident, and he had an extremely bad head injury, caused a traumatic brain injury, so he was almost like a vegetable but still somewhat conscious. Anyways, his respiratory drive went down, went into respiratory arrest, and it was impossible to put a tube into him, into his airway, and intubate him in the field. And so we rushed him to the hospital. We bagged him, made sure he was getting oxygen in, and we showed up at the hospital. It took him 5 attempts to put a tube into him, and they were about to do a surgical crike, which is cutting the throat open and stuffing a tube in through the throat. But luckily on the 5th attempt they got it. So I'm glad we didn't attempt in the field. There's no way, but we did the right thing. We got an airway. We maintained his oxygen saturation levels and did everything we could and rushed him to the hospital, and luckily he made it. So he's good, he's alive. He's 23 years old, involved in a serious motorcycle accident, and luckily he's still alive today. So yeah, that's about it for our story time. Again, if you have any questions about any of these calls, feel free to leave a comment down below, or you can tweet me or ask me on my Twitch live stream. I love sharing with these calls with you guys. It's so much fun. It helps me feel a lot better too when I'm able to talk to it with people, and and I hope you guys enjoy. So again, if you like to, make sure you check out my Twitch channel. Follow me on Twitter. You can tweet me at any time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy these fight clubs. Come join us in the fight clubs. Anyway, see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye. Siggy! Good old Sigward! You should go do the sleep gesture. He waves to us. Oh, Siggy, I freaking love you. Alright, I'm gonna fight him. Ouch. Ouch. Yeah! Here we go. Oh, come on. Let me have that finished attack, please. So ridiculous. So ridiculous. Oh, that was it. That was it. Come on, man. Parry! Come, the shield is so bad at parrying. That Llewellyn shield would have easily had that. Easily would have had that. Backpedal, backpedal, backpedal. Yo, Squid, goodbye, man. Uh-oh. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Who's this? Random? No! What is this? What is this? What is this? Oh, what the heck?